Welcome to another Let's Talk. Today we're talking about Blood Bowl and the implications of Blood Bowl 3. Now, earlier today there was a Warhammer festival that has been streamed and aired and it was finished. Now, there was a lot of things that happened with some new stuff, new models, and new game systems. But today we're going to talk about the Blood Bowl side because this is what this channel is mostly renowned for, is a lot of Blood Bowl and the potential of going to Blood Bowl 3. Now, as you can see right here, as you can see, we have now been confirmed that Dungeon Ball is returning. Now, for those unaware, what is Dungeon Ball? It is basically a one touchdown game where the idea of the game is to find the ball, get to the touchdown, and win the game. Now, this is set with the Colleges of Magic. This is basically where rookie players and teams tend to go and hone their skills. So, this is where this is coming in. Now, this is interesting because this could also be put into Blood Bowl 3 as a separate entity. Now, back in the mid 2000s, there was a Dungeon Ball game, but it didn't really take off. Now, with Blood Bowl 2020 in mass popularity, and with Dungeon Ball returning, I kind of feel that we could see Dungeon Ball being incorporated into the Blood Bowl universe, but as its own separate game entity. Like, say, you play Blood Bowl 2020 and Blood Bowl 3, and you can play this as a side game project. Or they might have a new system. We don't know, but this would be interesting to see, what they do with Dungeon Ball in the gaming industry. Now, as you can see here, to tell you about the box set and what's coming out, and what you can see here is what you're gonna get: the Dungeon Ball tiles, the chests, and the players, and like scoring counters. Now, to be clear, guys, this is the clear part. In Dungeon Ball, the ball is not revealed. You gotta find it. So this has got a bit of RPG. This is more for longer RPG games, not like straight up blood fighting. But that's up to you if you wanna take a look at it. And finally, we'll meet the teams, which we have the Colleges of Fire and the Colleges of Shadow. Now there are several other colleges like the Jade College, the Emerald, the Grey College, the Meadow College. So all the different magical teams will probably, you know, make their appearance. But this does leave open to potential for Blood Bowl 2020 incorporating this as a separate entity. Whether or not they'll do this, we don't know. But this is one of the big things that happened today. But that's not the only thing. You see, Blood Bowl has been getting a lot of love in the past few weeks. It's been getting a lot of love. And I was going to cover these eventually, but I decided not to because, one, I wasn't very well, and two, I had a feeling there was more to come, and by God, I was right. Because there's a lot of things that are coming up. Because next we're going to talk about here is big, it's scaly, and it's thick. Bite your hand off counts as a block. You know what that means, guys? We have a new Croxicore model. That's right, the Croxicore is back. Now, as a Lizardman player, I'm happy now we're going to see a Croxicore model return. And as you can see from this big, beefy brute, he does look better. I gotta admit, he looks more imposing, more intimidating. And the fact that he's got a knuckle duster in his hand is kind of a bit worrying. It's like, do you really need a knuckle duster, pal? Because I'll be honest with you, I don't think you do. Now, as you can see, it tells you about his skills and everything, which we all know. We've all played. We've seen Croxicores. They've never changed, so they're pretty much the same. Nothing changes, and artwork and all that. So, I'll be honest with you, this could be an interesting, sight to see with them, with old Crocky. But that's pretty much the normal stuff. Now we're going to talk about some of the new stuff, starting with the newest player to hit the gridiron, and that is the Bloodspawn. Now, as you can see, this beefy gentleman is the new star player. Is one of the new players for the Khorne team. Now, this beefy behemoth is part of the Khorne Blood Bowl team. Now, however, as you could see from his list, he is quite the beefy character, and he's the main big guy. Now let's look at this beefy brute. So first let's go back to his model. I have to admit, that is a frighteningly good model. I mean, that is a good model piece. And the fact that, he looks like he's turned into a demon of sorts, and he's looking like he's going to charge in and bash a skull in. is quite the sight to behold. So let's see what he is capable of, this behemoth. I mean, I love this. Look at it. Look at the poor goblins again. Ah, crud. Now, let's have a look at this. I mean, okay, skull for skull front. I think Khorne will not be happy with that. So, let's talk about the Bloodspawn. Now, keep in mind, the Khorne team, this is not the full list. I'll show you the rest of the teams, but this is not their full list. We have not got their full list out yet. Now, I am aware that they might not be out for another a few months. I think another month or two. When they do come out in the next Spike magazine, we'll know more what their tier list is. But this is what we got. This Bloodspawn. See what? Oh, this big guy. 160,000. Now that is very expensive. He's practically, I think, he's the second most expensive player, next to the Death Roller. And I think he's 10k more than a Minotaur. But we're considering what he gets with it. He gets Claws and Frenzy and Mighty Blow. I mean, that's a brutal piece. I mean, Unchanneled Fury is a bit of a worry, but to be honest, I don't think you're going to be minding that too much. But the fact that he's got Claw and Mighty Blow makes him a nightmare. I mean, okay, you can't stack Claw and Mighty Blow together. You can't do that anymore. The fact that he's got Claw now, that means any armored, like, 8 or above player is really in trouble if this guy gets running. Movement 5, strength 5, agility 4. Now that was interesting to me, agility 4. So he's got decent agility. Armor plus 9, so he is a little bit weaker, but I don't really care because he's a behemoth. He's gonna rip people's a new a-hole. Frenzy as well, a potential surf piece. But then again, that's the same thing with most of them. But oh yeah, this guy is a brute, and I cannot wait to see him in action. And I mean, I'll probably do proxies on these guys to see how well they do once we get the full you know, the full roster, see what they're capable of, and see what we can do with them. And speaking of the Khorne team, so let's move on to the next one. This is the Khorne starting list. So basically, this is the Khorne Berserker team, and this is something I was saying. I've said for years we need the other factions, and we've got one now, which is Khorne, and I'm hoping for like Nurgle and Slanesh and Tzeentch. Sorry, we already got Nurgle. Sorry, my bad. Slanesh and Tzeentch. Hopefully they'll get their own teams. I mean, if they can have their own teams, why not them? So let's have a look at these guys and what they're capable of. So we'll start off with the Bloodborne Marauders. So these are your basic humans, but they are the same price as a lineman. They're the same stats as a lineman. The only difference is they've got Frenzy. I'll be honest, that's better than a human. Because one, decent agility, they've got Frenzy, and they can surf a lot of people. But the downside to these guys, and I think a lot of people will see where I'm coming with this downside. One downside is their armor is 8+, which is very lightly armored. It's not a bad thing, but it's a bit worrisome. And Frenzy can get you into trouble. You're going to have to give these guys block right off the bat just to keep them, usable for long fighting. But they're nothing to sneeze at. I mean, they're a decent group, so nothing to sneeze at. Now these are the Congors. Now these guys are going to be like your main ball carriers. Now he costs 70, 20 more. You can have 0 to 4 of them. Horns and Juggernaut. That's the big thing. Juggernaut. That means, okay, he doesn't have Frenzy. Doesn't need it. He's got Juggernaut. So that's a pretty good piece. And you can make him an ideal ball carrier. I mean, he's movement 6, strength 3, AG 3, pass 4, armor 9. Can't go wrong with that. You can't go wrong with that. I would say that's a good piece. And he's a good looking model as well. I mean, look at him. Look at the gnashes on this guy. Oof. I think he could beat you up and eat you for breakfast. But he will be a must for obvious ball carrying reasons. You know what I mean? The Bloodseekers. Now these are the Chaos Warriors, and I'll be honest, I do like these guys better than normal Chaos Warriors. I'll admit, I do like them. So these guys are 110, movement 5, strength 4, plus 4 agility, plus 6 pass, armor 10, frenzy. What more can you ask for? I mean, you give these guys block or tackle, give them block, and they're just gonna break lines. I mean, you could give them guards to help the Bloodspawn, but imagine you're never going to use the Bloodspawn until like late, because that was a big, like I said, the price was a big issue, but you could probably use them the whole thing until you got enough money to buy them, but they are not bad pieces. I would give a block and they're laughing. So that's them. Now we're going to move on to the next one, which is one of the new star players we're getting. We're getting a couple of star players. Now, this is one of the new star players, which is the Verminator. A player that's been banned 27 lifetimes. Wow. Now, keep in mind, in Blood Bowl, you don't get banned that easy. The fact he's got banned 27 times? What did he do? Well, let's find out what he did. To start off, let's look at the model. A beastly brute, isn't he? Now, this gentleman is for the Underworld, and I'm not be surprised if Skaven can also have him. As you can see from this this fine specimen, he has a Warpstone ball and chain. Now, you may be wondering, oh, sorry about that, didn't mean to do that. I hate when emails just suddenly pop up there, but never mind. The thing about this fine specimen is that the ball and chain is a secret weapon, and if he has the same strength as a fanatic, without the whole randomness, this guy is a monster, and he could probably go toe to toe with a Death Roller, if that's the case. Unfortunately, we have no rules for him yet, because as you can see as we go down, there's no rules for him. Now, listen to this. This is what they say about him. Creek made his debut for the Warfire Wanderers in style by taking out nearly half the Dragon Crag dirtbags, earning a nickname and an immediate reputation for his ball and chain brutality and his shockingly violent antics that earned him the Verminator. No fewer than 27 lifetime bans over the course of his career, none which managed to stick following public outcry and pressure from sponsors. So basically, this guy has been so violent and brutal that he has had 27 lifetime bans because fans and the sponsors have told him no, he's not going to be banned. They can't ban him. He's untouchable. But he does have one big ability, which is called I'll Be Back. Which is when the first time he gets sent off per secret weapon trade, he's not sent off and he may continue the game. That's right. Even if he gets sent off after a drive, he comes back. He says, well, no, I'm not getting sent off. So this guy could be a nightmare for many players. Now, we have no idea what his points or his price are yet because we are still waiting on that. So, unfortunately, guys, we're going to have to wait a little bit longer for his full rule set. And I would love to see his full rule set to see what this guy's strength is. He's got to be strength 7. Has to be with that bloody Warpstone. And in fact, he looks like a freaking ogre. He's got to be strength 7. If he's anything less than strength 5, I'm calling BS. He's got to be strength 6 or 7. Has to be. And last but not least, we're going to meet another new star player. Meet Wilhelm Canine, the goodest boy to ever play the football. And that is the werewolf player. Now here's another new player. I mean, we've never had a werewolf star player, same with that vermin guy, and we're getting a new one. Now it's obvious that they are going full hog on Blood Bowl, and they're bringing out a lot of stuff. And like I said, this could mean we could see a lot of these teams, a lot of these star players being Blood Bowl free in the future. Now, I don't see those two star players being in there off the bat. I see them being pretty much in their expansions with the Necromantic and with the Underworld. Because he is a Necromantic only player because he can't play the Undead or Khemri because of, well, skeletons and he'll end up eating them. So, yeah, I don't see that happening. So this guy is, he's a very odd choice of taking the ball by the teeth, but hey, I'm not going to argue it. So, yep. And the fact that he does this. This is something he actually does. Now, we've got Will K9's card here, so we can have a look what he's capable of and his price. So he's 220k. Now, that is quite expensive, but considering what he's got, I would say that's pretty worth it. I mean, He's movement 8. Very good. Strength 4. Very nice. Agility 3. Good. Pass 4. Armor 9. This is a very good werewolf, and I could see a lot of people taking him for like special matches. Now his skill and traits. He has catch, claws, frenzy, loner, regenerate, and wrestle. That's key. He has wrestle. So he could be a good blitz piece or a good intercept piece. So he's got a lot of tricks. Now, he can play for Sylvanian Spotlights. That means any undead team. So I was wrong. He could play for the undead, which is, to me, seems batshit insane, but yep. Here's that rule. And he also has a unique rule called Savage Mauling. Once per game, when Wilhelm makes an injury roll against an opponent player, he may choose to re-roll it. That's right. This guy is so vicious and his claws are so deadly. He can really rip and tear. Now, this will get to me, guys. He's 34. Now, if it was going by proper wolf terms, he would be an ancient wolf. He'd be over 200 years old. But the fact that this monstrous pup is going to be part of the team. I mean, he's had 150 touchdowns, 42 fatalities, 21 legs chewed. Okay, who put that in there? 46 balls buried, 3 players dragged away allegedly. I'd love to know where allegedly. And he's also got awards. They say Leon Swerve's Fine Dining Award, Sudden Death Award, Don Masik's Goodest Boy Award. I mean, who the hell comes up with this stuff? I really do love that. And that's pretty much it for the Blood Bowl, because there's one more I forgot to mention as well. We also have a new other Blood Bowl player that we have not seen, which is Gretchen the Wetcher. The Blood Bowl hates Blood Bowl. Yeah, work that out, guys. Work that out. So this is a Banshee, which, like I said, they're going full hog on Blood Bowl, and the fact that we've got a Banshee player, in the game, that's scary. I forgot about this one. Now she has incorporeal once per game. After making an agility test dodge, Gretchen may choose to modify the dice by adding her strength to the characteristic. So, yeah, she could be a very nightmarish opponent to deal with. Now, we don't have the list here. I think there's one more star player we have from Forge World. Now, these are in Forge World, so... Oh, yes, this is it. This is Skull Heflit. This guy is movement 6, strength 3, 4, 4, 9. Accurate, loner, nerves to steel, pass. So this is a good passer, and he's for the Surveying Spotlight and the World Edge Super League. So there's a couple players to go. And you have Gut Wrench, which we now got her full skill set now. AG plus 2. And you could give her a bonus. The Stern Presence, Foul Appearance, Jump Up, Loner, No Hands, Regenerate, Shadow, and Cypher. This is a ghost with some serious attitude, and it's for Spotlight. And to be honest, this is what I'm saying, guys. Blood Bowl's had a lot of love, and I know this was back in January, but the fact that we're now getting a chance to have a look at these players now fully and properly, to me, this is what Blood Bowl is all about. This is showing the potential Blood Bowl has, and the fact that we don't know who is going to be put into the game, but this also shows Blood Bowl 3's major potential. But hey, folks, what do you think? What do you think of the new star players and the new Khorne team and Dungeon Ball? Are you excited that they could be in Blood Bowl 3? Are you excited to play their board game counterpart? Are you ready to rock and roll when Blood Bowl 3 finally shows up? You know what? I am. With all these star players and new rules, this is going to be fun. But hey, folks, that's it for this video. If you like the videos, you know the drill. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.